Welcome, friends, to the Beaver Dam. I feel like this is something very important to talk about. There's a lot of news going on. We have some shimmering bits of hope for a lot of us going forward, and I do appreciate that. One of the big things that they're not actually talking about that much, which is weird because, you know, I feel like it needs to be talked about because this is so good. With today's update, when you do a ticket required GL battle, you will no longer lose tickets on a loss. This will completely change how I do a lot of my guides, and I'll actually take a lot of stress off of me making those guides, which is nice, but it's also going to take a lot of stress off of you guys. You guys can be able to afford the RNG on things like the tier 3 of the JML event, the RNG on the tier 2 of the Leia event. You could stop being so frustrated at the Rey event's ultimate tier. I love this change. I think it's one of the best changes they've made. Like, this to me is tantamount to the gear changes. Like, that's how nice this is for a lot of people, and so I love this. This is awesome. Now, that being said, we also have some other cool things to talk about. One of the biggest is Quadme team really worth farming? Now, I'm not saying Quadme team is bad, but a lot of people have been adamant about this Quancho and pay to win, the Queen's Men, whatever you want to call them, getting them up as fast as possible. Now, we have a new assault battle, and it looks like this is going to be a common thing going forward. The new assault battle is confirmed: Captain Enoch, Night Trooper, and Death Trooper Peridia, with the reward tiers that are the same as the Phantom Menace, except, you know, of course, giving shards for the new characters instead. Now, this begs the question, is it worth getting the Queen's Men? I've heard a lot of people, and it's been a big source of contention in like my chats and stuff, where I keep telling people, no, don't go for a starting farm into the Queen's Men. That just doesn't make sense. Now, does it make sense to get them to like 5-star maybe, and, you know, start getting shards for them and getting the credits from it? Yeah, I could definitely see that, but like pushing them up as your first relics, they don't fit in any team that you get, and it takes 2 years. If you're like at 4 million GP, it takes 2 years to get your conquest units, meaning it's going to be a long time before you get your Queen Amidala and actually have a good team to go with your 2 characters. These guys just, you know, without Quadme, do a lot less. You're looking at severely reduced overall value on any other team. Like, they do decent things on Keller and Beck, they do decent things on Padme, but it's decent versus being absolutely great on the Quadme team. And so it's hard to justify 2 Relic 9 characters when you don't have the thing to invest in with it. There's a reason mine are so low, and you can see here my Quadme is 2 shards away, so I might be getting them up soon. But then there's the Enoch team. Enoch is not only this Enoch team are immediately good, they can auto Galactic War for early players. We have a couple people in our community who have done that in the early game to try it out, and it's very efficient in the early game. They're a solid team for a lot of different events. On top of that, they're also going to be able to give you all this stuff. There are also requirements for a GL. So overall, I think they're a great option for a lot of people over the Padawan Obi-Wan and the Qui-Gon. I think they're a little bit more palatable, but you do got to keep in mind there is 3 of them, and so with that being said, having 3 is rough. But, you know, GL requirement, which the Poncho Bros are just sitting there and they're just for a team, they aren't required for anything at the current moment, or in the future we'll see, maybe they will be eventually, but right now they're not required for anything. You know, you got the Captain Enoch team, where it's a great team early on versus but then you've got 2 Relic 9s versus 3 Relic 9s. Like, I don't know. I feel like the scales are tipping towards I'd be more okay going for Captain Enoch over a pay to win and a Quancho. That's just my thoughts. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. I just think this is great that you get a full team. Yes, it's an extra Relic 9, which is very harsh, I know. But, hey, you know, it's nice. It's also nice to see that if I get both of these, I'm going to be getting, you know, a Relic 9 every 4 months instead of a Relic 9 every 8 months like it was before. And that's another, what is it, 18 million credits per month from these assault battles. Regardless, I think pay to win, Quancho, Death Trooper, Captain Enoch, Night Trooper, get them all to 5-star, get your credits. They're going to be helpful for your accounts. Just make sure you're at that 5-star to be able to start getting those shards and those credits from the overall events. Either way, it's going to benefit you. We're all always out of credits on free-to-play accounts, and it's definitely something that's in my near future. I just completed a side farm on my Afro account, getting a raid team up for my guild, and then this is probably going to be my next step is, you know, as I'm working on my main farms, I'll start working on getting, you know, pay to win in there, Quancho in there, Captain, Enoch, Death Trooper, and Night Trooper, and just get them all to 5-star and hit that tier where I'm getting some solid credits and rewards. Should you bring them up to Relic 9? That is up to you. I'm never going to tell you who to Relic 9, just because I firmly believe that all Relic 9s are pretty much optional besides requirements. And so at this point, they're not requirements for any, you know, capital ship or anything. And it's just if you want to do the assault battle. So there's a strong argument for either team. I think Captain Enoch's looking more delicious. Now, there's one more thing that they sneakily snuck into the game that I want to talk about, which is absolutely wild, which is the fact that the Great Mothers are now in Cantina battles in 8E, which means both Morgan Elsbeth and the Great Mothers are in Cantina battles. I don't remember where Morgan is. We'll go down a stroll down memory lane. There she is, 7B. So they're both expensive Cantina battles, but they're Cantina battles, which means they're easier to get. This is a much easier to farm. This means a lot of players who are, you know, in that early area of, you know, you've got the light speed bundles, you're starting to get into the mid game over 4 million GP. And you still don't have a JMK counter, because JMK is a nightmare until you get a counter. This might be your counter. Hey, you're starting to see Gungans? Hey, this is your counter. You can have Great Mothers, Morgan Elsbeth, and then those random Night Sisters from the Night Sister Lightspeed bundle and have a great team. So I was really surprised to see this pop up, and they didn't even like announce it or anything. So big things are happening in the game. There's a lot to be sad about. The meta of the game is really out of whack, and I'm not a fan of it. We had a video just yesterday talking about our dissatisfaction with the game. But we do have some consolation prizes. We got a Lightspeed bundle coming. We have a new assault battle that sounds a little bit better. GL tickets no longer matter, which is so nice. I kid you not, it is on the same level as gear changes for me. It is. It really is. For being a consolation prize, it is probably the best consolation prize I've ever seen. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on these changes. I'm really excited. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.